4 feet deep.
Mm-hmm.
But it down at the lower end, it was lower, and the water run over all the time. There was a place fixed there for it to run over if it got so full, and it kept that Blanche and the creek, little creek that run right down the foot of the mount, never went dry. This one over here that comes over the bridge and between here and the all-stop place, now that was just a wet weather drain off type branch. That large part of the year it was dry. I don't know how it's been in the last several years since they changed all this terrain around here. I don't think this wash here, it wasn't there. I could be mistaken, I guess, about how far from the road it was. You know, you can't remember exactly for that long. Now that looks like a path that would come down to the spring, but it's probably not because see, it looks like it goes in further.
It could be just a deer path now.
Could be a deer trail.
There should be a lot of deer coming in if it's, a spring that stays wet.
Different times when I've been down here.
Mm-hmm.
See herds of them.
Oh yeah, they're thick out here.
And they come over. I don't see any indication of Popper's water here or on down there either. But the fact that the deer trails come down in this area indicates that there's spring water somewhere. What it was like. What about that one right there? That one looks like it could be that step rock.
Uh-huh. There's some big slabs over there.
There was a step rock here that was just a big slab. It was in the first half, and then when they built the second one, it was used for the step rock, the step up on the porch. There should be 2 chimney places, one at each end of the house, but I didn't see the rocks or any indication from them. I did when I was here and got it all located and found them. Looks like some kind of an animal's got in the nest right down in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like a groundhog or something.
I really don't care what's in there. Let's don't look at him. He might not smell good.
Okay.
Those cedar trees right there look like they might be old enough to be. But it wasn't downhill to the barn. It was all sort of on an even keel up here, up high, and then slanted down there. I guess this could be no, that's not the barn either. It's on the porch. But on the south, there was 3 steps. So the south side of the house was higher off the ground than the north side was.
Mm-hmm. This was the old house or the new house?
I don't remember the old house. See, it was burned during the Civil War, and I wasn't born until 1918.
Yeah, but they used part of the same foundation for the old house.
The step rock to walk up onto the porch or the dog trot was a rock from a chimney of the original house. I've always heard that came out of Grandma Narcissus's home that was burned, and it was put there for a step rock.
But it was moved away from the old house?
Well, it just wasn't. The second house was built just, it don't seem to me like over 10 or 15 feet from where the other one was.
Okay.
Very close.
Uh-huh.
The east end of it, they just started there and just went east.
Okay.
And so it wasn't, the two houses, the area was pretty much the same, but see, all the old house was covered up until they came in here with those tanks and started clearing the ground off and everything, and they uncovered that foundation. That's the first time I saw it, was after the camp.
Uh-huh.
And I realized what it was. But I knew where Grandma's house was, but I hadn't seen the foundation until they uncovered it. And then it was just very plain. It was just laid out there. Good thing I got to see it that one time, wasn't it? Because I can't find it now.
Well, it's grown up and changed a little bit, I'm sure, since then.
Yeah, it's 50 years, it sure changes a whole lot. And I don't understand those mounds over there, piled up there. Looks like they might have hauled dirt in there or something. I don't guess they did. Probably just pushed it up. But that's none of that was there. But the foundation of that house wasn't up, mounded up like that, either one of them. It was just more or less flat. The houses were gone, but the foundations were just still laid out there. Where else did you?
Yeah, I think this is...
Evidently this is it right in here where I came when I first got here.
It's just been pushed up a little bit.
All those piles of dirt pushed up there threw me off. But I still don't understand. I don't suppose I'm supposed to understand what they're doing. But these rocks sure look like the kind that had been used in foundation, so I guess this is it, right? And it seems about right from the road. You know, I came right out here. After I got here, well, nothing seemed right, but this is more like it than anything I found down there. And that did seem too close to the spring, too slanty down, you know. There wasn't, where the houses were, there was some flat, more or less flat ground around them before it went down.
Well, how far from the holding for the water for the stock, how far from that to the branch that's running now?
The branch came down right where it is now. Even when this road wasn't here, that branch came right down through between this place and the Allstock place, and went down there just a little ways, and then just made it sort of a curve back and went on down. And that fence was, part of the time that branch was on our side of the fence, and part of the time it was on the Allstock side. But the spring was on our side of the fence, and the catch basin and all. It was on this side, but down at the lower end where the water run out all the time, it fed that same branch. And the two of them got together and went on down to Little Creek, which is a creek that runs right at the foot of the mountain.
About how far, though, from the holding?
From the catch basin.
From the catch
down,
basin.
Well, it was just right along the fence. And it just wasn't far at all. No more than 8 or 10 feet, I don't guess.
Okay.
Because our cattle that came over here drank out of that catch basin, and then back there was other places where they watered. And the spring furnished water for the house here, and there was a wash well, dug well, up on the side of the hill, because it was copper's water. You know, it's not too good to wash in.
You turn your clothes yellow?
And turn your clothes yellow. It never went dry. It always furnished water in the hottest weather, driest years for the stock. And actually, it furnished more water for the Allstock stock than it did for ours, because we didn't need it. Our pastures were back didn't come.
It's back over by the cemetery.
A lot of our land that lay over here next to the mountain and next to the creek was cultivated.
Uh-huh.
Till we had time and wanted to. See, that Indian graveyard was just right up there. Actually, the road went right through it.
It's gonna be a real big head farm.
That's one thing I never could understand, or Mama couldn't either, as much territory as there is around here. Why they had to make this circle and come through that Indian road.
They probably just didn't know about it.
Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they knew about it. All the people around here.
One.
That was the WPA. The
It was
WPA.
WPA, yeah.
Do you remember names of any of the Indians that might have come through? Were there any names that we might be able to look up?
Kula and Quita were women names that I remember. And actually they didn't have Indian names in my day. They were just John and Frank and just names like, of course I'm sure in years past they had Indian names.
But do you remember their like last names? Anything that might be on a record, a tribal record? Or
No,
any full names?
but I know some people I might be able to find out if it's important.
Well, it'd be interesting for us to be able to try to contact their ancestors. Coming back to a certain place, I'm sure the place meant something to them.
Well, yeah,
And-
but see, that's been 50 years ago, and the old timers that came through here and all, and they've scattered around. I don't know if the Osage tribes are still like the Cherokees and keep the tribe together.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Uh-huh.
You think they do?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they do. To a certain extent. I mean,
Well, I can think about it and try to
okay.
remember. And they came, and some of them remembered her, and she remembered them. But heavens, I was just a little kid, and I don't remember what they talked about. But she came over and visited with them while they were here. And, they didn't dress like Indians or anything of the kind. You wouldn't have known they were anything other than just people. But she remembered when they were strictly Indian tribes. Aunt Sarah did. Joey. The way to find Indian artifacts, find a dirt that's not native. Not like Arkansas dirt and gravel.
Well, is there anything else you'd like?
Want to say goodbye. And the Beatles are back with a new single. We'll tell you about it. Stay with us. Pieces of history remain at the site of a place once called Auburn, and youngsters are finding out firsthand where their ancestors from the 1800s made their home. Some students from Charleston and Spradling went back in time to see how their ancestors lived in the 1800s. They walked over the grounds of a town that was once a thriving place before the Army took over the land for military training during World War II.
We're hoping that we'll be able to establish this connection between the natural environment, the way people use it, what they've left in it in terms of the record of their use of it and their lives here, with the documentary record that's available.
We've learned about the history of people. We've learned about the history of this land, this area that they're around right now. But they had no idea all of this was even out here.
They had never really connected that the Indians that they loved to study about had actually roamed this area, and that we took their land from them the same way as was taken from us.
Finding small items from a home helps tell the history of Auburn. Luckily, certain items have been found out here that give us somewhat of a clue what was here before.
Well, I think I found the cellar and the foundation of where a house used to be.
This was my great-great-grandfather and great-grandparents' homesteads, and to me this is a chance to come and see where they grew up and to teach the children that before Chaffee there were people that lived here.
The Auburn Town Site Project is a unique experiment in local history, which combines the themes of research, education preservation, and public participation. The physical location of the town site is potentially eligible for the National Register of Historic Places. The Auburn Town Site Project is part of the 1994 Center Valley program with the Old Fort Museum. Next in sports, Chuck Carney has